What am I doing here? What? This is different from last week. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. Who am I? Google it. I'm kidding. I had to make that. I love Marissa, but no. Anyway, I'm Logan Murphy. It says something gay. Gay. I am drinking wine because it felt like the appropriate time to finish off my bottle of Moscato. So I'm very excited.
Always
excited to be here.
Finish off Moscato.
Period.
And I am Kisha, and I'm here with my crochet as usual. And my wonderful cup of today is ginger peach green tea.
Oh, yes.
Love it. I am Taylor, and I am here with bourbon as usual.
Good.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a good night.
It is. And we are here. It is the second episode of House of Villains. We are back. I'm here finally. I'm very excited. I made the time. I made sure I was here because I need to talk about these people on my TV again. Several of them very excited. But yes, we've got episode 2 to talk about, and still no one has gone home.
Oh, the pain.
It's just too much. Send somebody home. But don't let it be my eye candy yet. Like, hello?
Don't let it be my queen of cheese pasta yet. We'll talk about it. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe. We're going to be here for however many episodes this show decides to go on. I don't know. Have they said anything about how many episodes it is? Because I don't think I've seen anything.
I mean, if it's 3 episodes per elimination, we'll be here for a while yet.
Fine with me. I'll take it. I'm not mad at it. But yes, we come back into the show. We are just out of the hit list ceremony where obviously we saw Omarosa is the top supervillain of the week. I love this chamber that they have going on. I love it. This show for me so far has been camp to the absolute extreme. And they know what show they're producing, and everyone knows what show they're on. And it just makes me so happy.
And they're all playing their parts. It's so great.
I love Corinne later in the episode is like, it's like how I felt when I got eliminated on The Bachelor. And then in confessionals, like, I know that's what you were looking for.
Yes. I was living for that. Just that awareness that, like, I feel like these contestants, more so than like other reality shows, know what narrative they're supposed to be giving, and they're not afraid to give it to us.
Yes.
I agree. But yes, we saw Omarosa nominated, I guess is the right word. She put people on the hit list, and she put Corinne, Shake, and Jax up on that hit list. And I was only disappointed about one of them because, you know, I think, I don't know if any of us here particularly enjoy Shake all that much.
We do not.
He can go.
He could go. Unfortunately,
I thought he was good.
I thought he was gone.
I thought he was fucked. I was
so ready for Shake to be gone. I do not understand how they let Shake not be gone.
I can tell you why. Johnny Fairplay. That's why.
Fairplay.
We'll talk about Johnny Fairplay. And I'm not the biggest fan of Jax, I'll be honest. So I was like, Corinne, yay! Keep Corinne.
Yeah, I feel like Corinne needs to continue to fight with people and then cry afterwards. I think she has more to give us on the white tears front. So, like, let's see how it goes.
I need more white woman tears on this show.
I need more Jax eye candy. Like, hello?
Has he even taken his shirt off yet?
That's what I'm saying. We need time for all this. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to, like, I wasn't trying to, like, make Corinne first boot because, like, you know, I was willing to see Corinne's development on the show.
Yeah.
But, like, if it's Corinne or Jax, I want the eye candy. I'm sorry. Straight girl here. I need the looks. Like, give me something to look at.
Fair for sure. But
and this house is not filled with a ton of eye candy for you either. So like if you lose Jax, like
it's
you're
sad.
really
Sad.
yeah.
It's bananas.
No,
and
we're
that's
not
disgusting.
looking at bananas. We are not.
No.
We have never looked at bananas. We'll not start now.
I understand, and I'm with you because that's the one person going to the store. I was like, ugh.
Oh, I'll look at bananas. I don't want to hear him speak, but I'll look.
I think I'm in the same boat, honestly. I'm like, you can be there in as little clothing as you prefer to be. That's fine. Just don't talk.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't do it for me. But
That's
entertainment,
fair.
yes,
It's
entertainment value, wonderful. Like, let's go. But Jax is my eye candy, and I'm like, I don't need him to be around for the whole show, but like, because he can go eventually. But like, give me an episode or two. Like, really, we had to go for Jax first. This is why Omarosa needs to go, because like, girl, you just picked the wrong person.
Yeah, she could have taken out like there was like Anfisa giving nothing. Put her on the hit list.
Yes.
But she likes Anfisa. That's the thing. Omarosa likes Anfisa, so they have their bond. Unlike her and Corinne.
That's why she's gonna go while on the block next to Anfisa, and I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah,
yeah,
probably. Why do I feel like Anfisa is going to be the one that just skates by all the way through to the end? Because like nobody knows her really. They're like, why is she here? She can stick around. She's not going to do anything meaningful. I mean, I didn't know her going in, but 2 episodes in, I'm like, you're cool.
My only hope for Anfisa leaving, and this is something I want, is that like because nobody knows who she is, maybe nobody gives a shit if she goes. So maybe there's a week where they're like, I don't know, like I don't really like. Let's just.
I need a third person to nominate Anfisa. Like,
exactly.
yeah,
that's exactly how I was like. They're like, I need somebody. Anfisa, you're growing up.
Yeah. Well, amongst our nominees, we know that we know one of the people that doesn't want Corinne to go is New York, and I just have to say, how much money are they paying New York to be back on the show? Because I never thought we would see her again. Her and Tanisha, quite frankly.
But I love it because I love Tiffany on reality TV. Like, just gives me life. Like, I just love Tiffany. Tiffany is just so fun, such a positive energy, a good vibe. So I'm here for all of it, and I'm not here for people disturbing Tiffany's sleep. Like, Tiffany is not BTC. You went to the wrong room. Like, Tiffany will take you by your throat and throw you outside and not play with you. Like, she don't play. Like, stop.
Bobby literally pulled a line out of Tanisha's playbook.
And was not invited to do so. Tiffany didn't do anything to him.
No.
So no, I was not a fan.
I was.
Go ahead, sorry.
I just thought that was so funny that it was like Bobby too, of all people, because like Bobby seemed to like really fuck with New York in like episode 1. And so in episode 2, I was like, no, Bobby, like, you don't need to be the one doing this.
Like he was like, I'm meeting.
Funny. I don't think he understood that New York though wouldn't think it's funny. Like I think he's like, oh, in the morning I can just tell her it's a joke, it's funny, but like, no, that ain't gonna fly with Tiffany. Like, no, you picked the wrong one. Like you don't know. Like you don't know.
And speaking of not knowing, we get this conversation with Shake and Jax, where Jax is just going on and on and on about all of the money he's making and all the money his wife is making. And Shake for a second clicks into like competitive game mode and is like, well, if I'm on the hit list next to him, I just need to tell people that he's going around saying all this.
Right. Like he got money. He don't need to be here.
Exactly. And for a second I was like, oh my God, great strategy. Love it. Wonderful. Perfect. And then he decides to go tell Johnny Fairplay in the single most echoey bathroom that they possibly could have. Like, I'm like, did they intensify the echo in this bathroom just so Jax would hear from down the fucking hall? Like, what?
Oh my God. And then here comes Jax. Hello?
And then Shake is like, oh my God, what? And it's like, Shake's like, I've never been on a competitive reality TV show. And I'm like, it shows. It shows, honey. Like.
Well, no, not just that, but it's like, Shake, think about what you're saying. You're going to go to all these other people who, granted, I get that you aren't on their level in terms of celebrity, but Jax isn't the only one there who gets paid to be seen. Like, so this is not the strategy to start going around and tell people, like, he makes money because he gets seen. Like, so do they. They are going to vote him off for that reason.
So does Omarosa, Tanisha, Tiffany, Johnny, Corinne, probably Anfisa. Like, what?
That is not your selling point. Like, does that make you look good? Does that make you want to stay longer? Like, that was like the dumbest idea that he had, to be like, I'm gonna go tell everybody he gets some money from appearances, and that's why they should kick him out. Like,
but I loved Jax like kind of leaning into it too, being like, well, we all need money. Like, we're all here looking to make money for a reason. I don't know. I just found this whole like it was such a silly argument.
Like, baby, do you live in California? You don't live in California, so you don't know.
You're in Florida. You don't pay taxes in Florida.
I'm just like, what? If they keep bringing this level of stupid drama, I'm here for it. Like,
me too. Like, this is what I need. This is why I watch reality television, for all this stupid drama. I'm like, are we really arguing over like, I make this much money and I live in California versus Florida? Like,
I make $450,000 alone on Cameo, but I have to pay California taxes, so I should stay here over you.
Yeah, I hope Shake goes home because of Florida taxes. Like, I hope someone mentions that when they get rid of him.
I hope if Jax does get it, seemingly like pulled back from this like whatever like death chair that they get put in at the end of the episode, we'll talk about it. But like, if he gets pulled back, I hope his last words are Florida taxes. Like, it would just be so good. But Joel gathers everyone in the living room, and I have to be honest, I'm not a fan of Joel McHale. However,
I do like Joel McHale.
I don't. I find him annoying, and I find him just. But I am enjoying him as the host of this because he's making everything funny, and he's breaking the fourth wall just as much as everyone else is. Like, he knows the show he's here to host.
Yeah.
And in that case, I'm like, that's fine with me. You're good. But he brings everybody in for a special cameo from Carole Baskin.
That was so random.
Like, are we gonna get celebrity cameos every week from like other villains?
I don't know. And I'm not into that whole whatever show, that Tiger Shark, whatever show that is with Carole Baskin. So like, I know who she is. But like, it don't do nothing for me whenever anybody brings up that woman's name. So I'm like, okay, we can move on from this one.
I just thought it was funny the way she opened it with like, I'm also misunderstood. And in my head, I was thinking like, are all of these villains like cool with a Carole Baskin comparison? Like, if I'm Omarosa, I maybe like don't want Carole of all people being like, oh, you're just misunderstood. You know, like, or I don't know, like,
you're just like me.
I watch Celebrity Big Brother live feeds. I don't think Omarosa is misunderstood. I think she knows exactly where she is. Wherever she is, she knows exactly where she is and what she's there to do. So I don't think
she's a political analyst for a reason. Girl is always strategic and analyzing something.
She's not fighting with the cat man, you know, like, I don't know what, Joe Cat, whatever his name is.
Joe Exotic.
Yeah. She doesn't have to deal with that. You know, there's different leagues, honey.
Exactly. It's just like, why? And it looked like she was on the crunchiest video camera via Zoom. I'm like, Carole, you have a lot of money, honey. I know you do. You're getting all of that hair taken care of probably for you. She looked great. That's the one, and I love Tanisha going on and on and on about her hair care routine. Is that 32 or 36 inches, girl? Like, I'm going to say this now, and this is going to be me. There are so many people that I adore and love on this cast. I am Team Tanisha until the very end of this competition, more than anybody else. Bad Girls Club raised me. like, I watched that religiously for the bulk of my childhood. So like, for me, it's always going to be Tanisha. And when she was announced, I was like, well, I'm watching.
Yep.
So we then go, and it's time for our first redemption challenge. So we drive up to this closed racing course with this really nice car. I didn't know anything about this car. And then when Jax was freaking out about the car, I'm like, good for you, straight man. Happy to hear it.
Yes, Jax, win. Yes.
Yes.
Let's go, Jax.
No. But this challenge is called Blind Trust. So they're not really racing in this car, even though Bobby got to. Just out of nowhere gets chosen to be in this car. And he's freaking out the whole time. I would be him. I'd be like, oh my God, stop. It's going too fast. Oh my God. And like me with my whole ass self with vertigo, I'm like, no. But we are blindfolded and racing go-kart. Or not go-karts.
Golf carts.
Golf carts, thank you. This is stupid, but I loved it.
It was entertaining, and it didn't cost production that much.
Cones are not that expensive. A golf cart rental for probably 4 hours, not that expensive.
Production paid $500 for this little activity.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, that's
They had to pay more for all of the inflatable balls in episode 1 than they did. But in this one, the person on the hit list is blindfolded driving. They pick someone to guide them through. And I think of all of them, Shake had the best choice because Shake picked Johnny.
Yeah. And Johnny, you could definitely see kind of challenge experience there. He knows how to communicate to a partner. He knows how to work with a blindfolded partner specifically. I mean, they were so quick. It was wild how effortless that was.
Yeah. And we have Jax picking Johnny Fairplay. Just not the right idea. And Corinne picks Bobby, which I personally thought was an interesting choice. I think if I'm Corinne, I pick Tiffany.
Yeah, I definitely don't pick Bobby because I see Bobby and Omarosa as being tight. And so if Omarosa just put me up, why would I want to pick Omarosa's bestie to guide me through this course? But I mean, Bobby didn't screw her over. It did seem like he was.
Corinne screwed herself over.
But I also think they all also talked and they knew that the idea was that for them at the time was that Corinne was supposed to stay and Omarosa still wanted Corinne to stay.
Jax, I think, was always the target.
Yeah.
I think one of Jax or Shake was always the target. Corinne was there, A, because Omarosa doesn't like her, and B, for the rest of the house to basically just be a pawn.
Yeah.
If you're looking at this from Big Brother standpoint, she's up there as a pawn. She's not inherently supposed to go home in anyone's mind except for maybe Omarosa. But even then, I don't know.
From Omarosa, she isn't either. For Omarosa, it's just if she goes home, oh well. But she's not trying to make her go home. She just knows that she's you can be up there because I need to have somebody up there.
Yeah. So Bobby does, I think, the best job he could have. But Corinne going in reverse for about 10 seconds, I don't think necessarily helped her out much whatsoever. And that's why I love Corinne, because she's just so unintentionally funny and campy. And she doesn't try to do it, but she just does, and I love it. And then Jax picks, like I said, Johnny Fairplay, the king of sabotage.
And what a journey they took around that parking lot. I mean, production was probably worried that they were going to have to pay for another hour's rental with all the different turns and loops. They're like, shit, we're going to have to pay $550. I know. But so funny, especially too, because as it was happening, the way Johnny was doing it, I wasn't sure if he was sabotaging her or not. I was like, is he just really bad at communicating? He hasn't played anything in a while. Maybe he's a little rusty. No. That's Johnny.
That's Johnny for you. But we do get a winner. Jax comes in last with only 4 minutes. I was like, oh, that's surprising. It looked like much more. It looked like way more. And then Shake wins the challenge.
Gross.
Good.
Yeah.
But it's good for TV, good team TV, because that'll leave drama.
Yeah.
Like if Shake wins something, like is Shake going after Omarosa? You know, like it leaves in this dynamic of like what's going on there.
If Jack stays too, like as much as I don't want Corinne to be first boot, if Jack stays now that Shake is safe, like. Yeah. But we do know that one of Jax or Corinne will now be the first person voted out by the rest of the group. And we do also get confirmation in this episode, Omarosa, as the supervillain of the week, does not have a vote.
All right.
Which I was wondering. I'm glad we're doing it that way. It feels very Big Brother in a nice way. I like it. But yeah. So we get some sort of campaigning. Jax is going around talking to people. Omarosa goes up to Corinne and she's like, well, are you campaigning? And Corinne's like, campaigning? I'm like, Corinne, do you even know what show you're on yet? Like,
no. She is not fully figured it out. But some of this is, believe me, Corinne putting on a show.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, and it was, who was it that prompted her about the campaigning?
Omarosa.
Yeah. It's like Omarosa, why, like, I don't know. There was kind of an irony there. I was like, why do you care if Corinne's campaigning?
Because she wants Jax to go and not Corinne.
Yeah.
Because in case she wins supervillain again in subsequent weeks, it's an easy one person. Like, I still don't like Corinne. I'm still going to put Corinne up again. Like,
exactly. She has that narrative to go with.
Yeah. I do think Corinne is making some solid campaigning points here. She's just like, Jax is a very big physical threat. And as we've seen now, the two challenges we've had have skewed a little bit more physical than anything else. Right. I mean, this last one was all about trust and like the driving part was still physical. But if the competitions continue to be physical, which we saw the preview, doesn't seem like they're all going to be physical, which I love.
Right. Corinne with all the women in the room talking about like, we need to stick together. We can't let these men come overpower us. Like, she was making a case.
And I do think, honestly, regardless of whether Corinne goes or stays, I do think those other 4 women are gonna try to stick together as much as they possibly can.
I do too.
At the very least, I think Omarosa and Tanisha are. I think they're gonna loop in Anfisa, and they might bring in New York, but I feel like no one's gonna actively go after New York immediately because they know it seems like she's the one person everybody knew. It's like a lot of people, they were like, who are you? What show are you from? Everybody knows who New York is.
And everybody kind of seems to not want to mess with New York.
I wouldn't, like, if I was there, I wouldn't.
Like, she has a subtle safety about her that everybody's like, I ain't trying to get on her bad side. Let me not.
I think until she wins like a supervillain and puts someone up, I think that's the only way someone would have a justification for
target her.
Well, that's why I thought her kind of exchange with Corinne was so like interesting and kind of out of left field, because I had felt like I was surprised that Corinne was kind of the target of so much of her anger on this episode, and it also was like, oh, I wonder if like she does stuff like this, if this will give her people kind of a reason to go after her, because I think right now they might be
York, right? Like, that's New York. Like, and it wasn't that it was so much, it was literally one moment. It was in one moment. It was, and that's the way New York expresses themselves. It's like, you know, New York's emotion in those moments without a doubt. Like, she doesn't hide it. And so it was like, Corinne, why are you saying that? Like, why don't you have my back? Why are you not helping me? And why are you not on my side? He came into our room. I shouldn't be the only one out here on this island fighting this man over what he did to us last night, was what New York was feeling. And so she felt betrayed in that little moment of, I should have people on my side, and why do I feel like I'm on an island? But I don't think it's something that's gonna linger. I think it was just that's what New York does. She lets you know in the moment how she's feeling when she's feeling it, and she can also move past it.
Yeah,
but that's how she was feeling in the moment, and that's why they don't mess with her because they're not gonna want to go. They don't want that side of New York to come out on them.
Yeah, and let's pop back to what prompted that whole New York Corinne exchange is Bobby getting blackout drunk in the jacuzzi at Banana's jacuzzi party, and Bananas is like, I'm gonna steer him on because I know he's one to, talk shit when he's drunk, point blank, when he's drunk. That's what I know Bobby to be from watching Love and Hip Hop. So like,
I know Bananas to be someone who instigates whenever he finds the opportunity.
So, I'm weird. So I'm not a huge Banana fan. I'll be honest.
Nope.
I am finding him interestingly intriguing on this show. I think being out of the challenge space, I think I might like him just a little bit. I think his gameplay is smart, but
he's in less control, which I think makes him a little bit more interesting. I think when you watch him on the challenge, more often than not, he's got so many strong relationships and connections in the house with strong players that he doesn't have to do as much to be like as interesting or entertaining. Whereas in this house, he really sticks out as a physical competitor. And so I think he's kind of having to try and pull back and push other people into the spotlight. And I find it really interesting.
Yeah. And you see his personality, you see the social part of his personality of having to connect with people, not because he's the top gun of the house. Like Tay was saying, like he just has to connect naturally. And that is, he does have charisma. He does have a personality where he can connect with people. And you're seeing it, we're seeing that happen. And it's just,
it reminds me of old school Johnny Bananas from his first couple of challenge seasons, where I did really like him. Like he was scrappy, fighting from the bottom, and it feels like we're getting that kind of Johnny again. And I do love seeing it. We see his charisma on display because he's flirting with Corinne, flirting with Anfisa. His moment with Tanisha where he's just like unpacking his bag and he's like loofah, shampoo, big dick pills, and Tanisha's just like, all right, that's what does it, and walks away. It was my favorite part of the episode. I'm just like, yeah.
I was really living for. So I like prefer Anfisa over Corinne. So like when Johnny was filling both of them, I was like, yeah, you pick Anfisa. And then this episode, Anfisa was like, no, I am like shooting that down. I have no interest in this show, man. And in my head, I was like, okay, Anfisa, like taste, like you're clearly making the right choice. You shouldn't go down this. Like,
of course.
And then just like the subtle shade of like calling Johnny's like typical fling stitches and he's probably more into girls like Corinne. It was so funny to me. And
Fisa calling it out was the best. I was like, all right, points for you, points for
right?
You. Like, yes. And even be like, but I'm gonna go along with it because in this house you need friends. I was like, yes.
No one knows who I am, so I'm gonna keep as many allies as I can. She's
like, Fisa, play the game, but you can still go. But play the game, I still like it. I was like, you might get me on your side like that because I was living for it.
She might be my dark horse pick, and I think it is just because no one knows her. No one really knows like what she can do in a game like this. I'm like, I find her very entertaining, having no concept of her.
But she's completely paying attention to them, so she's watching.
Yeah, so, I think that's maybe the position to be in this game. Is like, I know all of you. You don't know me. Yeah, so I know what to do to connect with all of you. Her immediately talking to Omarosa, love it. Her having like a pretty good relationship with all the other women in the house, great. Her having a decent relationship with Bananas, which Bananas is now connected to most of the other men in the house, great. I think maybe the only person at this point that would try to target her or at least put her on the hit list would be Bobby.
I was gonna say Bobby would put her up as a pawn.
100%.
I don't think he would be targeting her, but he would definitely, I think, will put her up.
Absolutely. But speaking of Bobby, he gets blackout drunk and spurred on by Bananas, goes and is going to go start shit. And presumably the only room he goes into is Corinne and Tiffany's room. I'm like, baby, that's the last room I would be walking into.
Yes.
I'd be going into Tanisha and Omarosa's room before I'm doing that. Because at least
that room either. Like he just should stay away from the women. Like the women in the house are scarier than the men. He needs to know that.
Agreed. I feel like though with like having had the like spa day with Tanisha and Omarosa, I feel like he could have played it off the morning after as, oh, you know, I'm just having a kiki, whatever. Like I feel like he could have played it off a little bit more. Unfortunately, like you said earlier, Kisha, he's dealing with New York. And you don't mess with New York in that way.
Not.
And then the whole we have the whole family dinner. Tanisha going, does this look like Food Network or something? Again, iconic punchlines. I love her.
It was also like a nice moment to shit on Johnny too, because I want to say he was like a big part of the prep. He was like, I'm doing a big Italian dinner.
I think it was like all him.
Yeah. And
all
like,
him.
So did y'all like ship in Olive Garden? Like, I don't understand what's happened here. This does not look appetizing.
I'm so interested about like the entire logistics of this show. Because it seems like they all have their phones.
Oh, and they have liquor. That's the other thing I was thinking of with Bobby, right? Like, he was drinking liquor.
It seems like they just have PAs that are there just to like, hi, what do you want for dinner? Hey, what can we DoorDash for you? Like, hey, what do you want me to go pick up? Because they had like bags of food. It did look like Olive Garden. So I'm like pretty sure it was Olive Garden. Because I was like, if I know one thing in this world, it's what an Olive Garden salad looks like.
Yeah. But those weren't Olive Garden breadsticks.
I noticed that too.
Right. He probably just ate the bread and then claimed the whole meal.
Probably. that feels like a bananas thing to do.
Yeah, I could see him doing that.
But yes, then we get the Tiffany versus Bobby and Corinne moment, where like we said, Corinne kind of gets a lot more of the heat for this than Bobby did, and I was because Bobby apologized and then stepped out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Whereas Corinne was like actively trying to explain it. And I understand Tiffany's point for sure, but I definitely understand Corinne's moment. Like, hey, this from my perspective, this is a misunderstanding. Let me explain myself. And Tiffany's just like, no, I don't want you to explain yourself. You did what you did. That's it.
Well, it was also interesting too, because Corinne's on the block, right? So if we're talking about what Bobby did last night, of course Corinne's going to be like, oh, it wasn't a big deal. She's on the block. Like, she's going to want Bobby's vote. But then it was also fascinating watching her fear as she realized, oh shit, like, by not backing New York, am I potentially going to lose New York's vote too? And so like, I think she was in this really interesting predicament.
Exactly. And what she should have done was just sit there and eat her food. Like, literally, you know, that's a saying, but like literally that's what she should have been doing. She should have just kept eating, stay quiet, and not jumped into the fray on either side. Like, just eat your food, Corinne. Eat your food. You on the block. Pretend like you don't even hear the argument. Like,
what argument? This pasta is so good, Johnny.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
That sweater fits amazing, Johnny.
Tanisha, you look gorgeous today, honey. Like,
does anybody want a hug before bed? All you need.
Anybody want cake?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
But we then get the announcement. I love evil voice audio, Eva. That it's all of just the subtle touches. They know what show they're producing, and I love it. Announces that we are going into the banishment ceremony. Everybody's getting ready. But of course, because this is an E! Entertainment Network show, they have to leave us on a cliffhanger. Because of course.
Yes.
So we don't know who goes home yet.
And then at the next episode, are we going to get the person who's eliminated and another competition? Because like,
it seems like it.
How much are we dragging this out? How much are we dragging this out?
Well, it seems like they're going to do very much so Netflix style editing where it's not all, this is the episode. You're getting this, and this, and you get it every episode. Like, it doesn't seem like we're going to get that, which is fine. Drag out the episodes, whatever. Are we going to complain about it? Obviously, because we want to know who goes home. But which leads me to my question. Who do we think is going home?
Jax. Or Jack.
I think Jax.
I also think Jax.
Unfortunately.
I don't think what Corinne did was enough to sway New York away from her side, because she really has no relationship with Jax at all, at least from what we've seen. And I think everyone's going to recognize we have a very strong physical threat up there. Though the people with the competition reality show experience will know we just need to take this shot now.
Yeah, and I think Tanisha's conversation with Jax was smart and strategic, but I don't necessarily think that it was her planning to keep him. I think that was on the off chance there was some other like plan and he stays, for her to just be like, yep, see, I'm in your corner, I was with you. So she like has that as like her portion of the backup, which is intriguing to me because Tanisha doesn't come from a competition reality based show. The girl is playing the strategic game to make sure that both people feel good with her. So I was like, yes, Tanisha, play that game, baby, play that game. But I think Tanisha's still gonna get rid of Jax.
It seems like, from at least what we saw from Jax, they were told to watch certain reality shows. And so it seems like maybe Tanisha did her research. If she's not a fan of like Big Brother, Survivor, etc., these like very like strategic heavy shows, maybe she did her research. And I feel like Tanisha is the kind of person that would do her research in that regard and know, like, I need to do whatever I need to do. Or also, that could just be her instincts as a mom. Like, she might just have that, I need to make sure I'm good with both of these people. I'm going to vote one of them out, but I need to make sure I'm still good with both of these people just in case, regardless of who stays. Because we even see she ended up swapping her bed with Jax in this episode, and she was like, I'm a mom, I just can't help it. So I think there's a bunch of different factors that could be in play here. But again, Tanisha's still my pick. I love her. But also, what were these? Like, they're strapped down in these harnesses, and then there's belts.
I want them to like get shot up out of the house or something.
I think it's just like pulled back, is what it seems like. Yeah, it seems like it's just like a dark cavern behind them, and it's just like one of those like propulsion systems.
Yeah.
Which feels right.
I just like that it's going to be a dramatic exit. Like, the instant I saw that they were going to be strapped in, I was like, oh, okay. This show is literally going to be the most at every opportunity. So, thank you.
Also, can we talk, because right before we finish, they both plead their cases, and then Joel is like, well, does anyone else have anything to say? And New York pipes up, and she's like, I saw your heart from the moment you walked in, and you're a demon. And she made Jax cry. I was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't get that. But damn, New York. Like, and that's why I think Jax is going to go, because I think if people were kind of on the fence, I don't think people are going to want to side against New York. I don't know if the votes are going to be revealed or if they're going to say how many votes there were, but I was just like, wow, damn, okay. Like, oof. I didn't know she felt that way.
I don't think she feels that way. She's doing what she has to do to keep Corinne safe.
Sure.
Right. I don't think it's that she actually feels that way.
I hope not. But
I mean, if it was about Shake, it would be true. But no, not about Jax.
That part.
That feels true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's that. That's the episode.
And we still didn't get Spencer.
Oh, I feel like we're going to have to wait. I feel like he's going to come in like mid-season.
Probably.
They definitely made it seem like he was coming in this episode. I'm so upset.
Well,
not
okay.
That I want him, but, just for the drama of it all.
Of course. Who was that? I didn't recognize who the woman was next to Joel during the challenge in the trailer. It looked for a second like Lisa Vanderpump, but I don't think they would do that. I
don't think I know who we're talking about. I don't think I was paying close enough attention. It's probably just somebody that, because he was doing a lot of like fourth wall stuff. So
sure, because it seems like there was some woman with him, because they show the challenge for the next episode, which is this like masquerade.
Oh, the next episode challenge was. Oh, I don't think I paid close enough attention.
Fair. It looked like Lisa Vanderpump, but also it didn't look enough like Lisa Vanderpump. She would make sense in some ways if she were to pop up. But unfortunately, lovely woman, you look great, but I don't know who you are. So,
oh, yeah, I didn't pay close enough attention, but yeah.
But yeah, we're getting this masquerade voice morphing challenge where if you figure out who people are, then you win Supervillain of the Week. I'm like, this is a fun challenge. I like.
It's a really fun challenge. It kind of gives like an Alias game vibe. You know, like can you kind of figure out who someone is based on just text or just what they're saying. It's a lot of fun. And as a viewer, it's fun too, because even in the promo, I was like, oh, is that New York? Is that Corinne? Is that, you know?
Oh, the one saying, Shake, is that you? That's New York.
Yeah.
They can voice morph New York as much as they want to, but at the end of the day, her voice is not hideable. Like, you cannot disguise her voice.
I was having the same thought. And I was like, I wonder who's going to be the best at blending in and who's going to be the worst at it. Because I feel like New York is so distinctive that most people are going to be able to figure out that it's her.
Yeah, she needs to just figure out who everyone else is.
Yes. Fun competition though, and I love that it doesn't look physical. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more social, Actually, yeah, it's like fun to get like a social count.
Yeah, this is one where we were talking about like the Amphises of the world who might have paid attention to everyone. This is something they could win.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think she's the one to blend in the most.
They wouldn't know them, but like she could know everybody, you know?
Yeah.
So this is definitely one where it's like somebody like her could win.
And there's a lot of decoys, it seems like, too, because there were definitely more than 9 people like in the little group with the masks on. So maybe there's someone there to like act like they're one of each person. Like, is someone there to make it seem like they're New York or they're Omarosa or something? Like, I think that could be fun. But
I don't know. I hate that I have to wait until Thursday.
Literally. Thanks, E. Thanks. Appreciate it. Also, go ahead and renew the show already for season 2 because we're enjoying it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And put Jeremy Carey on season 2, goddammit.
Oh, can I I'm gonna do like an etc. because I feel like we're now at the end of the episode. So something that I thought was really funny from the beginning of the episode that we did not talk about at all. Jax is snoring, and the fact that like at one point Shake was convinced that maybe like room trading had occurred so that he couldn't sleep. And I'm just sad that like Jax is probably gonna go and like the room swapping to like get rid of Jax's snoring to maybe keep other people up. Like that storyline to me is very funny. Yes, and I very appreciated the 4 minutes we got of it because it was
That also might motivate people to get rid of Jax though, in theory. Like if you're borderline and you're like, I don't know what will make my decision, getting rid of the snore would be the thing that would tip me off. Be like, well, I can sleep. Jax, I'm sorry, baby, that tipped me over this way. You gotta go. Like, that would tip the scale for me because I grew up with a sister who I love her dearly, but she was a snorer. So I know that pain. Yes.
As a snorer, I get it.
Watching him like sit in the living room, like on his little iPad, like not sure where he could. Oh, it was so funny how pathetic he was in that moment. I was living for it.
That's why I was like, do they get their phones? Because it seemed like he was just like on his phone watching YouTube. I'm like, what is this? Like, I'm like, what are my etc. is gonna be, what are the accommodations they're getting on this show? Because obviously there's only 4 bedrooms, but like, how many PAs are there getting food? Are people asking for things like on a daily basis? Like all of it. I just want to, how much tequila has Bobby consumed?
Yes. How much alcohol do they get? Because like in Big Brother, they get like a bottle of wine for the week. You know?
It's literally like every 3 weeks they'll get a bottle of wine and 3 beers to split between 13 people. Like it's what?
And here, like Bobby's like putting away a fifth and holding like a, what's it called? I only drink like bourbon or tequila, so I don't know what those canned things are. He's got like a seltzer.
Oh, the seltzer. Well, he was like, "Has anyone ever chugged a beer?"
Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah. I was in a frat. Of course, I've chugged a beer. Like, what? I guess Kisha, do you have any etc. things to bring up?
No, I think you guys have covered everything, and I kind of threw in all my stuff as it was happening.
Great. Well, with that being said, thank you for joining us for week 2 of House of Villains. We will be back same time, same place, probably a lot of the same people to talk about episode 3. In the meantime, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because we are building our cute little family over here at The Cup TV. And if you're a fan of all things drag, make sure to follow our main channel at The Cup Pod, where we do a lot of that, because there's a lot of drag programming happening right now. I want to die. Just kidding. I love it. Hit all the buttons that say you support us. Make sure to follow all of our socials, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Cup Pod. You can follow us in the description below. And you could also go get your cup merch, including but not limited to the cup mug. I forgot to show her off at the start of the episode, but she is here. Link in the description below to get all of that. And with all that being said, cheers, y'all.
My cup is gone.
Oh, no.
I finished my drink.
I also did, so I understand. Bye-bye.